Welcome to Jeannie's guitar class. I'm Jeannie Carter, and today I'm going to show you how to make the G, C, D, and E minor chords. So grab your guitar and let's get started. First, make sure your guitar is in tune and is tuned to standard 440 tuning. As a reminder, the fingers are counted like this: first, second, third, and fourth. The strings are counted this way: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. In the chord diagram, the vertical lines represent the strings of the guitar, and the horizontal lines represent the frets of the guitar. If you don't know how to read a chord diagram, make sure to watch my YouTube video on how to read a chord diagram for more in-depth instruction. The first chord we will learn is the E minor chord, since it is the easiest of the four chords we'll be learning today. The E minor chord diagram shown on the screen shows the second finger on the fifth string, second fret, and the third finger on the fourth string, second fret. The sixth, third, second, and first strings are all played open, meaning there are no fingers on these strings, but they are still strummed as part of the chord. So go ahead and place your second and third fingers on the strings as indicated by the diagram. Make sure your fingers are on their tips and that you have enough steady pressure on the strings to make the chord ring out. Strum from the sixth string all the way down to the first string like this. Now, let's learn the D chord. Place your fingers on the strings as we talk through this diagram. The diagram shows that the first finger is to be placed on the third string, second fret. The second finger is on the first string, second fret. The third finger is on the second string, third fret. The fourth string is strummed open as part of the chord, but you do not strum the sixth and fifth strings in the D chord. Place your pick on top of the fourth string. Make sure your fingers are on their tips and pressure is steady. Now, strum down like this. If you are a beginner guitarist, don't worry if your chords don't sound like mine yet. You may have a lot of dead sound at this point as you're learning. Just keep working on improving the sound of your chords on a daily basis, and you'll eventually have great sounding chords. Something else to be aware of is that as a beginner, as you are working on learning guitar chords, you are going to get sore fingertips, and you may even develop blisters on the tips of your fingers. Unfortunately, that goes with the territory, but it does get better. With regular practice, you will soon develop calluses or tough skin on your fingertips. After a couple of weeks of daily practice, you should have less and less soreness from that point. If you do get blisters on your fingertips, let your fingers rest for a couple of days so they can heal up some. But don't stay away from practicing too long so you don't lose the callus formations you have already developed. Okay, back to our chord learning. We'll now learn the C chord. As before, make sure to place your fingers on the strings as we talk through the diagram. The diagram shows that the first finger is placed on the second string, first fret. Make sure to get as close to the fret as possible without getting on the metal fret. The second finger is placed on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Again, get as close to the fret as possible without getting on the metal fret. The third finger is placed on the 5th string, 3rd fret. The diagram shows that you will strum from the 5th string down through the 1st string like this. If you get dead sound, which is this, make sure your fingers are on their tips and that you have steady pressure on the strings and that your fingers are not laying down on the strings to deaden out the one below. You can also pick out each string individually to make sure that string is ringing out and not dead. Last but not least, we will learn the G chord. The diagram shows that the second finger is placed on the 2nd fret, 5th string. As I've said throughout this video, get as close to the fret as possible without placing your finger directly on the fret. Now place the third finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret. See how close my fingers are to the frets. This will be the hardest part of the G chord for you to get, and that is to place your 4th finger or pinky finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret. Notice how my pinky finger is turned. This will be quite a stretch between the 3rd and 4th fingers, and it may take you a while before you can make this comfortably. So don't get discouraged if you have trouble with it in the beginning. Place your pick on the 6th string and strum down through all the strings like this. You may also make the G chord using the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers, and many guitarists do make the G chord this way. You may see chord diagrams showing the G chord made using these fingers. This way of making the G chord is correct as well. It's just a different finger formation and placement. Let me tell you the reason I make the G chord using the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. When you're changing chords and strumming, usually the C chord will follow the G chord, and vice versa. As you learned with the C chord earlier, the 2nd and 3rd fingers are on the 4th and 5th strings, and the 2nd and 3rd frets are used. When you change to the C chord from the G chord, all you have to do is bounce your 2nd and 3rd fingers down one string and add the 1st finger, and you have the C chord formed. Making the G chord this way will make you a tad bit faster at changing between those two chords. Also, when working with the G7 chord, which will sometimes follow a G chord, all you have to do is lift the pinky finger from the G chord and place the 1st finger on the 1st string, 1st fret. I won't go into detail about the G7 chord here because we will work with 7th chords in another video. But this gives you an idea of why I make the G chord the way I do, and encourage you to learn the same finger placement by using the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. This fingering allows for quicker transitions, particularly between G and C chords. Having said that, you can learn the G chord using the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers, and can change from the G chord to the C chord quickly and on time, as many guitarists do. I'm just trying to show you what has worked best for me. Because when you twist, when you make G this way to get to C, you've got to come up and twist all around. to get to those chords. It can be done, but it is more of a twist. Okay, that concludes our lesson on the G, C, D, and E minor chords. Don't worry at this point if you can't get every string to sound perfect. Just continue working on and improving the sound and smoothness of those chords. Try to practice these chords at least 30 minutes every day, and you will be playing smoothly and accurately before you know it. Also, make sure to check out the next Jenny's guitar class video where we will work with strum patterns using these G, C, D, and E minor chords you learned in this lesson. You won't want to miss that video because learning to strum is just as important as learning the chords. All right, I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video. If you'd like to see more of Jenny's guitar class videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.